Hey everyone out there, thrilled to have a special Vancouverite on the show this week. Her photographic archive of the 70s and 80s Vancouver music scene is unrivaled. She stays active to this day. This is episode 76 of In It to Spin It with Bev Davies. So the back of AntiSocial skate shop here in Vancouver was pretty packed. Great night had by all in the parking lot. New Sensae needles and pins. Always great needles and pins. Then it was New Sensae's turn to take the stage. This was rumored to be their last show, but we were reinforced that they would play again, but Daniel the drummer is moving. So this was definitely all eyes on him on this night. Final hurrah. So we met up with Bev at her house. She was gracious enough to host. We sit down and look through some of her choice pictures, also go through some road stories involving the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and plus a whole lot more. Enjoy the chat. 1, 2, 3. Hey everybody out there, we are with Bev Davies, legendary Vancouver rock and roll photographer. So nice to be here with you. Say hi to everybody out there.
Hi everybody out there.
Great to be here with you. Thanks for agreeing to come on the show. It's a big thrill. You've shot, it seems, an endless amount of film here in Vancouver and elsewhere. Truly an incredible body of work. You captured the very essence of the early 70s and 80s Vancouver punk scene, and you still remain active, taking pictures of concerts to this day in the city. So
yeah, there was a break.
Yeah.
I took a break.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, the 90s, was there a 90s break or?
Well, at some point the punk had just kind of gone.
Yeah.
I didn't work at the Georgia Strait anymore, so I didn't have access to big concerts.
Okay.
There weren't any small concerts I wanted to go to, so
Yeah.
I went to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, for a decade or so. Okay, so we've got 3 pictures we want to highlight from your impressive body of work, and then we'll get to some other questions. So the first picture we've got, we can put up on the screen here,
Yeah.
taken of Bono flag waving at the Queenie Theatre, right?
Yes.
So tell us about what's going on with this one here.
Okay, well he was doing Sunday Bloody Sunday, and he had this huge long pole.
Yeah.
With a white flag on the end of it. He was marching around. And then he went off the stage, which wasn't terribly noticeable, but he went missing for a minute.
Yeah.
And appeared at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre up in the balcony area,
Really?
as close to the stage as he could get with waving the flag.
Yeah.
The security people were
Scared, obviously.
quite concerned. Yeah. Well, they weren't so scared they ran away. They were scared enough that they put their arms up in case he fell.
Yeah. So this, were you like official press pass for this? Is that how you got such an amazing shot? Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And then there's also the other one we can throw up in the Nardwar Rock and Roll calendar. And tell us about this one quickly, because
that was just a few days later, and
Yeah.
so I talked to them and talked to Bono and knew that they were going down to the US Festival, and so
Yeah.
was I. So I actually saw him earlier. They played the daytime
Yeah.
at that concert.
yeah,
A lot of people, a lot of the press people and stuff said this is the last big concert that they will play in the daytime, because
Yeah.
these guys are headliners.
yeah,
It just was so obvious at this concert.
yeah. This is the War Tour, '83, I would guess.
Yeah, 83.
Great.
So it was just a few days later. I actually ran into him in the pit when I was down photographing a band before they came on.
Yeah,
And talked to him and said, I photographed you guys here, right? And he said, right. So
yeah,
they started off with the first day, some sort of stickers that you had to put on your passes.
Yeah.
That the band had okayed stuff, so he put
Okay.
a sticker on mine.
nice.
And then that all broke down because there was no reasonable way to get a hold of
Yeah.
bands to get
Everyone's
stickers
just
from them.
Rushing in.
Yeah. So the photograph from the US Festival, the pit was like huge, wide area of photographers, and just distance between the crowd and the stage was
Yeah.
at least maybe 6 feet, maybe more than that. And I was photographing him on the stage, and he was pacing the stage back and forth on the stage while he was singing.
Yeah,
And I thought, I know what he's doing, because he was gathering up microphone cords.
Yeah, to get
he didn't
slack.
have one of those ones without the cord.
Yeah.
It wasn't really common in those days. So he was gathering it up so that he could go into the audience the way Jello Biafra did.
yeah. And then
And-
you nailed it.
And I knew, and
Yeah.
I watched him go out, and you can see in that photograph that the security people are trying to grab him back, and
Yeah.
he's just heading out into the audience.
Nice. Very cool moment there.
And then all the press just turned, the other people just turned and looked at me like, how'd you get that?
Yeah.
But we couldn't say that to each other because it was too loud.
But they knew. You knew. You
I
were
knew,
prepared.
I don't know that it actually went into like a thought that if you were standing beside me I would have said, that's what he's doing. I just knew what he was
Yeah.
doing.
Just
Without
instinct.
not in words. I
Yeah.
just knew what he was doing.
Okay, let's move on to the Modernettes shot. Got a great one.
Okay, so this
You can put it up.
Mary really likes this blouse. I
Yeah.
like this blouse too, and there's certain things that I photographed that I'm sorry that they're not in color. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Because her blouse looks like it was probably all the colors of the 60s and more.
And what venue was this at? You couldn't
This is
tell
at
from
Gary Taylor's Rock Room.
Gary Taylor's Rock Room. Okay.
And he's still around. He's going to show up in a movie that Suzanne, that did Bloody But Unbound, is
Okay.
doing. That she's interviewing a bunch of people.
Nice.
And Mary played bass, and Buck is John Armstrong, and Mary is Mary.
Yeah. Nice
And,
shot for sure.
Yeah, she lives on a ranch. She has horses
Yeah.
in Alberta.
Okay. And what's the final one you want to talk about?
Oh, I just got to say that how interesting, though all of these people were punks,
Yeah.
not everybody sounded the same.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the Subhumans and DOA, there's a real difference to their sound.
Yeah.
And the Modernettes were a truly pop band, just like quite different than the Pointed Sticks, which were a pop band too. But
Yeah.
they didn't sing about pop stuff. I guess that might be the difference between
Yeah,
them
the
and
lyrical
Pointed
content.
Stick. Yeah.
Okay. And I think the
And-
last one is a DOA shot.
Yeah, the last one is DOA.
Commodore.
Yeah, with the audience is severely lathered up.
Yeah, it's an amazing
So
shot.
it was taken in
So
July. DOA had gone down, Dave Gregg, who's passed away now, dear Dave here.
Yeah.
And they had gone down the West Coast opening for Stiff Little Fingers. Like Stiff
Okay.
Little Fingers played Vancouver and they opened for them.
Yeah.
And the West Coast tour dates, which I don't think had a Seattle date, but San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Okay.
Perkins Palace outside of San Francisco and somewhere in Los Angeles. And then they turned around and came, maybe did a couple, no, they turned around pretty quickly and came back up the West Coast with the Dead Kennedys.
Okay.
So this show,
Nice.
to my mind, had Toxic Reasons. I hope I'm right about that.
Yeah.
And Dead Kennedys, and then DOA. So
Nice.
it was.
And this is, you said, coming out for, you lent this photo out for an upcoming book?
Yeah, it's
about the
coming out
Commodore?
in Aaron Chapman's book about the Commodore, the history of the
Nice.
Commodore
That'll be a really cool read.
ballroom. And he, one of the things that he wants with photographs is where you can see the stage, and you know, it's not just a photograph of somebody
Yeah,
and you tell
the
them that they're
atmosphere.
standing on the
Yeah.
stage of the Commodore. He really wants
Okay.
stuff that you can see. So this photograph you can see, and then of course there's the guy that's
Yeah, the pointer. That's
slithered up
That's
and
awesome.
pointing. But it's obviously shot from the side of the stage.
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll look for that in that book. We'll wait for that to come out. Yeah. So if anyone wants to see more pictures, where can we send them? Bev Davies. That Shaw,
Just
or-
Google me.
Yeah.
Google
okay.
me.
Yeah. So
And
that's the
it'll come
picture
up.
side of it.
My Flickr will come up.
Yeah.
And when you're first confronted with my Flickr, it starts with the latest picture.
Yeah.
Those kill cult
Okay,
that
yeah.
I saw in town, and I went, "Ooh, damn! I'm going to go see them." And this is the first Brian Jonestown Massacre show I think I saw. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Anton, I was showing Anton some posters when we were Skyping each other, and he saw this one. And see how it vibrates?
Yeah.
And he had someone redraw it and used it for a record cover, a 10-inch record cover that he
Nice.
did. But it never did that glowing thing that it does here. This is a really, really early Dish Rags,
Yeah.
K-Tells, DOA.
DOA. Nice.
This is,
Another
The
Jonestown.
yeah, the next year. This is the 2007 that you were
Oh,
talking
that
about.
is the poster. I do not have one of those. Sweet. That's the infamous show.
And Anton has his own story about what happened, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
Because I just wouldn't disagree with him.
Yeah, that was a
This-
good show though, and it only
but this
happened at the
glowing
end.
one is
Yeah,
from-
this screws with your eyes,
It's
especially.
from the 60s, and it's Papa Bear's medicine show at the Retinal Circus.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can see what you mean now when I'm down at this angle.
It's
weird.
impossible to read it.
Yeah.
And then just stuff that I went to,
Yeah.
shows I was in.
Hey, well, let's talk about your body of work and pictures. What do you hope young people or people new to your body of work and the pictures, what do you hope they get from them or feel from them?
Search the music out.
The music. What's most
music.
important?
The music is the most, I mean, these are images that were taken at musical events.
Yeah.
Um,
So just look for
that
the
if
music.
you're looking at my rock and roll stuff,
Yeah. Know the tunes.
I mean, the other
Okay.
night I was sitting around watching all this stuff that's
Ruben.
going bad in the world, and I thought, how many minutes to midnight is the clock now? Is the doomsday clock?
Yeah.
And people are saying it's 5, but it hasn't changed in a long time. So I listened to Iron Maiden, 2 minutes to midnight.
Nice. Going to shows, I meet photographers, young kids shooting like their first ever shows for Discorder and Beetroot and whatnot. What advice can you give them in this now very crowded photographers world
give
out
up.
there? Yeah.
You know, you're the only one that can take your pictures. No one else will take exactly the same
Yeah.
picture as you do. And figure out a way to be able to find them when someone comes over and says,
Yeah.
I want to see
Have
whatever.
it organized.
Yeah, have organize, like get them off of the camera.
Yeah.
I shoot with small memory cards, so I'll quite
Can you
often,
limit yourself like that?
no,
Or-
I'll quite often switch them out,
Yeah.
especially if I'm somewhere that somebody might come up and go, dump your camera.
Oh, really?
Dump all the pictures, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
happen often.
Yeah, not anymore. But like, imagine back then it would, yeah.
No, not so much. It happens now, you know,
Really?
if you're shooting at the Commodore and they think your camera, you know, I mean, if it's single lens reflex, you
Yeah.
can't use it out in the audience, but
Yeah.
I have other cameras I can use in the audience, and some of them
They
are
still
quite
ask,
good.
They still
And-
ask you to stop?
You can get the Commodore people to
Yeah.
but they could get you to dump it. That's just my feeling. I shoot with small ones
Okay.
and save the stuff and that's the same as the war photographers. I heard 2 women that were war photographers. or one was
switching out.
award. As they switch them out and get them sent home
Yeah.
by the next
Oh,
person
so they're
that's
safe,
going.
yeah.
So they're safe.
Okay, well I think that's a good chat, and thanks for talking, and we can have a quick look through these posters I brought too, and we can
Yeah,
splice
and
some of
publish,
that in.
publish, just like, whatever. And
Yeah.
so that all these other new photographers that are trying.
Just
is-
keep
is
sending it to
I used to do
outlets and stuff?
fanzines. I used to always.
Like
they got them for
independent
free.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just they couldn't call them photos by Bev. They had to call them pics.
Pics by Bev.
And they
Yeah.
were free. And that got it out to other fans of the band, and they got them for free. And
Yeah, that's a good way to
kind
get
of
your
stuff
name out there.
I gave pictures away for free.
Yeah.
Like, I have difficulty with who owns them.
Yeah,
I mean, we've looked at Bono. I have no problem. He wants to buy that. He can give me $10,000 for. I don't care.
yeah,
But DOA can have this one
yeah.
to use if they want. Aaron is going to use this in the
Yeah.
book. I think that's way
The way
more
to do it.
important because though that's my photograph, it's still DOA.
Yeah. Well, it's a good outlook for sure. Well, thanks for sitting down and having
Okay.
us over. Yeah, thank
Excellent.
you. Good.
Yeah,
Now,
thank you.
Ruben made the appearance.
Yeah,
covering
he
up
made
your
sure that he
notes.
made an appearance.
Yeah.
He wanted
So
to
yeah,
make
I
an
wanted
appearance.
to